Good afternoon, Suze Duncan. How are you?
Fine, Julia Stock.
We are starting a new series, aren't we?
Yes, we are. So we finished the A to Z, which was
Yep.
fantastic fun. And we'd like to say thank you to everybody who engaged with us on that series because that was, yeah, I really enjoyed doing it. It was a bit apprehensive at first, but once you got me talking, I mean, Julia can attest to this. That's going to have to be out there. Once you start me, it's very difficult to stop me. So we're doing a new series around tech, and
Yes.
tech and employability and skills providers, and what good looks like for that, and maybe where people are falling slightly over from some of our experience with some of the people and partners and colleagues that we work with.
Oh, that
Um,
was terribly tactful.
I know. So Julia is very opinionated on this subject. Just saying. And so am I, but we come from a
You're
precise
opinionated on literally every subject.
everything.
Yes. So this series is called The Missing Ingredient because in our experience, and this is something that is really personal to us, isn't it? Um, there is a missing ingredient in all your key leadership and management training. And between the pair of us, we've done pretty much every leadership and management strand.
Yeah,
You've got your MBA.
MBA.
We both have very business related degrees. I've got assorted qualifications in leadership management, education management, lifelong learning, everything in the world to do with the sector. And we, several years ago, took a training provider that was 95% paper based
Mm-hmm.
to being 95% paper free over a series of years. And that saved the business an enormous amount of money. We're talking hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Yeah.
But it took a lot of experimentation to get it right, um, a lot of investment in the right software to get it right. Um, And we stuffed it up, quite honestly, for the first few iterations until something miraculous happened.
Thing of beauty.
It was a thing of wondrous beauty, which is we both signed up to do the level 4 apprenticeship in information systems business analysis, now
We
known as now known as the business analyst apprenticeship. And it was fantastic. And what we identified was this whole world that we didn't know existed, this whole world of skills in running a business. These aren't tech skills, these are business skills. And we both went into it going, yeah, 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 la, 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 we know what we're doing. And we lasted about one session before we went, oh. And
oh
what that allowed us to do was complete that digital transformation and get it so it actually worked. And it was beautiful. Because let's face it, in both skills and employability, there are only two factors that you are managing: people and data.
yep,
And you use one to influence the other and the other to influence the one.
yes.
And that's it. If you've got shit data, you cannot get the best out of your people, whether that's employers, staff, or learners. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. And I think it goes to be if we go back, slightly back from that as well, it's about knowing what data you need to manage really, really well. And you go into companies and there's huge amounts of data.
Tons.
Tons of it. Everybody and their son has got a different Excel spreadsheet for recording almost the same data, but just in a different way. And there is no consistency of understanding strategically, from a leadership and board level and on down. What data should you be recording where and when, and how should you be using that data to influence decisions at a strategic level in the business? And how does the data sets talk to each other to make sure that it works well for your business? And that's what we did. So when we finished on this journey of tech transformation and paper-free transformation, and trust me, I used to have the photocopier by my desk. So if anyone was coming up to print something, they'd have to explain why. We were really dedicated to paper free. But it also meant that everything was being recorded in a way that we were able to pull up data from our document management systems. We were able to pull up data from our CRM. We were able to pull up data from our training academy, online training academy, in all different ways to pull it together in a meaningful way to manage the business well, to meet the needs of contract, of commissioners, of inspectors, and any other person that needed to see what we
just
did.
Nobody exciting, just the learner, the employer, the staff.
Those ones, but putting them to aside for 1 minute.
Sorry, cheeky in joke. We once had a member of staff who sat in a meeting and went, if you just put the learner to one side for a moment, haven't I done a marvellous job? No.
No.
Anyway, we've been laughing about that one ever since. The point would be, as a leader and a manager, you don't know what you don't know.
That.
We didn't know what we didn't know until we did it. We are now really passionate advocates for this missing ingredient. And it's amazing how many times we talk to business leaders and managers who are going through digital transformation, who know it's not working well. So they've stripped the paper out. Stripping the paper out is the easy bit. Getting a system that works, that gets you further forward than when it was all in paper, that's the tough bit. You know, when you have a paper portfolio, you literally have to have the thing in front of you. You have to dig the learner record file out of your filing cabinet. You can look through all of that. You can dig the portfolio. You can look through all of that. If it's all electronic and in the cloud, if you don't have it set up right, you're not really that much further forward because you don't necessarily have the reporting that tells you the last time this, that, and the other happened. So actually, if you're looking at a learning leaver, when was the last date in training? And can I find the last date in training without wading through the learner record, without wading through the learner portfolio? Can I look at that date that comes up in that report and can I trust it? Because for a lot of providers, you can't trust that date.
Yeah, and it's about, deciding what are those protocols, right, for staff to follow. It's about that staff buy-in. So it's one thing as well to have a board level, strategic level vision of where you want your business to get to, and maybe using experts like us to help you get there. But there's also that thing about getting the buy-in by setting the right protocols up in terms of how that data is inputted and managed well. So things like finding the last date of learning should be as easy as pulling a report out of a system, because people are recording and measuring and submitting data and work in the same way across the business, irrespective of the contract that you're on.
But it's also that thing of you as the leader, having been a CEO myself, you've been an ops director. Yeah. It's us as leaders at the very top of the business, understanding where that date has come from. And that's part of the difficulty that a lot of providers have, is where they have bought these systems in, and there's nothing wrong with these bought in systems, but you don't necessarily know how they're working, how they're put together. Yeah. So this date that gives me my last date in learning, what does that relate to?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that the same date that I would say, on reading the guidance for a particular contract, is it the correct date for that particular contract? There's a lot that we take on trust.
Yes.
Fundamentally, what we see over and over and over and over again is business leaders that are not IT confident. And we were there. You don't have the knowledge, the skills, or the language. And it's really about the language to be able to describe what the problem is, and then to figure out what is the actual solution to that actual problem. And if you cannot define the problem, you are never going to get an amazing
Yeah,
solution.
absolutely.
So it is that lack of IT confidence. And that's what we're on our latest mission to help solve, because it is a solvable problem. Do you have to do a full level 4 apprenticeship in business analysis in order to solve the problem? No, you don't. What we're working on and have is a fantastic course that's over a much shorter period of time, is not an apprenticeship, although we would love to deliver the apprenticeship, but is entirely honed into what are leaders and managers of skills and employability providers, what's going to make them amazing in this space. And if you're amazing in this space, it will save you hundreds of thousands of pounds.
And I think, yeah, and I think that we should probably stop soon, but I think that we want to stop on that message. This is not about IT for IT's sake. This is
Nope.
not about tech transformation because we're in 2024 and AI is on its way properly in the industry alongside. We know devolution is coming along and all the rest of it. And what do you do? This is about saying, if you do this well, this is about productivity gains, efficiency gains, increased EBITDA, the whole 9 yards. Because if you get this right, your business is going to be transformative in its ability to grow and grow well. And I think probably on that note,
we best stop.
Bye.
If any of this stuff has resonated with you, please get in touch. As you can tell, we would love to have a chat.